Broussard, what was your biggest takeaway from the column?
Well, I had a few. And one was that, look, Jeanie said the right thing. I'm impatient. You know, she said later on, I will make the hard decisions. If we're not living up to the Lakers standards, I'll look at everything. But then it didn't ring true. It kind of came off, as you read the whole article, like she was just saying it because she knew that's what the fans wanted to hear, that you're impatient and we're turning over every rock and stone to find the answer. And the reason I say it didn't ring true is because she had incredible, unwavering confidence and faith in Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis. Now, my thing is this with Pelinka. It's you can of course he's your GM. You believe in him. But the confidence level that she suggested she had yesterday or in the column is unwarranted to this point. Because let's face it, Rob Pelinka did not build that championship team. He had nothing to do with LeBron deciding to go to the Lakers, and he didn't get Anthony Davis. Let's face it, LeBron got Anthony Davis. And even KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was a role player there. I mean, yeah, Rob had something to do with it, but really that was just, Rich Paul and Clutch bringing KCP there and getting him a great contract too. So Rob didn't build that team. So my point is, where's the unwavering, why does he have this unwavering faith that Jeanie has in him? And then Kurt Rambis, she says, she talks about how much confidence she has in him and his 40 years of basketball experience. Well, Kurt's coached more than 200 games as a head coach. He's got a 28% winning percentage, Nick, as a head coach. My point is this. If she was really holding everybody's feet to the fire and really impatient, she would sound the alarm on the front office. Like, look, we dropped the ball this year. All right, we've got, I believe in Rob, I believe in Kurt, but they've got to get it done. Like, I wanted to see more of a sense of urgency and kind of putting those guys' feet to the fire to hire the right coach, to make the right moves. And she did none of that after saying how impatient she is.
No. But it's hard to hold people's feet to the fire when everyone you employ is your close personal friend, except for Vogel. He was the one who wasn't, so he's the only one who gets fired here. Every single quote in this story made me angrier than the previous one, except for, and I'm going to go through them, except for the last one, where we spent 3 paragraphs about how, but Laker fans hand Jeanie Buss their baby to hold at games. Well, in that case, then I guess your ownership is going just great. What? Like, okay, yes, I mean, and oh my God, you've got your 6-month-old in Lakers gear. Where does that happen? I don't know, everywhere? Like there's NBA onesies in Oklahoma City too, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But let's just go point by point here. The first one is paying the luxury tax going out on a limb. You know what I'd call it? Owning the Lakers. Having LeBron James, Anthony Davis, championship window open, you're supposed to pay the luxury tax. And also, though, don't complain about paying the luxury tax and then explain why it makes sense for Linda Rambis to be a highly paid employee on the payroll. The quote about Linda Rambis is astounding. I don't understand. She's in the same role she's been in for the last 40 years. My advisor, Brew, 40 years ago, Jeanie Buss was 20. So if Linda Rambis' job is the same it was 40 years ago, do you know what it is? Friend. Now it's employed friend, paid friend. She's like, no, Linda's not. She's not involved in basketball decisions. What she does is help players get acclimated to Los Angeles. Huh? So like you trade for Russ and they're like, hey, Linda's going to take you on a tour of Brentwood in case you've never been to LA, help you find the best schools. What are you talking about? And then Kurt Rambis, when she throws out there, he's worked in this league for 40 years. Yeah, but 35 of them, your family or your fiance was his employer. That's not a thing. Like if I hire Wild's kid and he works for me for 25 years, and people are like, why does Billy, well, what makes him qualified? I'm like, well, He's worked in television for 25 years. It's like, yeah, for you, buddy. That doesn't mean he deserves to be here. Billy, by the way, would be an excellent addition to the staff one day. And then she says, I want to make it very clear. LeBron and Clutch are not running anything. It all stops with me. I'm glad to hear it. Then stop leaking that they're running everything. This idea that, like, no, it all stops with me. Meanwhile, all the reporters that are closest to Jeanie keep coming out with stories like, oh boy, LeBron made this bed, now he's got to sleep in it. Oh, he forced our hand. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth here. And then it's like, yeah, Magic Johnson left us in a lurch. I never expected it. I adore and love him and lean on him for support. Phil Jackson is 76 years old, hasn't built a team properly ever. But yes, of course, he's one of my most trusted advisors. And you might see us having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but read nothing into it. The whole thing was maddening. You're the owner of the Lakers. And the only person you've held accountable is Frank Vogel, who, by the way, deserved to be held accountable. But it resonates with me that he's the only person in a powerful position that you don't have a close, long-standing, multi-year relationship with. You can't run it like the Family Dollar. It's the Lakers. I know it's a family business, but it's not really. It's the Lakers. Make some tough decisions.
Okay. All right, so that's what I want to get to, the tough decisions. Because, Broussard, my criticism with the column, or really with how the Lakers are being run, is the same as my criticism with HBO's Winning Time. Your obsession with trying to recapture the past is distracting for me. Every one of the major players in this column is connected somehow to Lakers' greatness long ago. If it's Phil Jackson, if it's Rob Pelinka, if it's Kurt Rambis, earmuffs, Nick, it's LeBron James. It's a while ago, I was good. We saw it flare up with Russ. When Russ was having problems, he's like, why do I believe in myself? Because I scored 13,000 points or whatever he said. It all feels very, as Colin would say, rear view mirror. We're at a fork in the road that nobody wants to take the right turn. The answer is to probably blow it up, but nobody wants to do it. The Lakers, we talk about the Rockets, we think about the future. We talk about the Grizzlies, we think about the future. We even talk about Anthony Edwards, we think about the future. We talk about the Rockets, Rockets are going to be good. We talk about the Pelicans, we think about the future. We talk about the Lakers, you're constantly talking about the past. So, Broussard, I'll put it on you if you're running the Lakers. Are you keeping things as is, trying to get incrementally better, trying to make a trade for Russ that doesn't exist, or are you making a major move?
I'm keeping LeBron James. That's one thing Jeanie said. She made it clear that we are not looking to trade LeBron James. She's excited about him passing Kareem next year in a Lakers jersey. So LeBron's not going anywhere, and that's how I would keep it. Now, I would likely keep Anthony Davis, but I would explore some trades. And I'll just throw this out there. If I'm, what is about a Klay Thompson, James Wiseman package for Anthony Davis? Would the Warriors be interested in that? I'd want a little more if I'm the Lakers.
The Warriors would.
But things like that, like look at things, look at some of those. Let's put it this way, Wiles. I'd explore what I could get for AD. But most likely, I'm keeping LeBron and AD. I'm definitely trading Russ and getting rid of him. And I'm handling my coaching hiring better. But I think you get AD and LeBron and you can build around them. I don't think you blow it up. They blew it up before, or when Kobe left, they had to start from scratch. And you saw how that worked. They spent 5 years out of the playoffs. And so blowing it up isn't always the answer because there's no guarantee, especially with the way they're being run right now. Where's the guarantee that they're going to make the right draft decisions? So I would not blow it up.
So that's the most important thing. I definitely would not trade Anthony Davis for Klay Thompson and James Wiseman. I have a visceral negative reaction to that trade if I'm rooting for the Lakers to succeed. But I also am not trusting Rob Pelinka to make any type of franchise-altering trade in associated with Anthony Davis. There's no chance I'm trusting Rob Pelinka to do that. But I do, Wilds, you and I I don't know if you did like a hypnosis class or something. You and I off the air at some point have to discuss how you perceive time. Because you're like, everything happened long ago. You're dealing with Magic Johnson. That's from 40 years ago. Dealing with Phil Jackson. It's from last decade. Dealing with Rob Pelinka. That's from the Kobe era. And dealing with LeBron James, who won a title for you 2 years ago. My God, all of these relics of the past.
So
like
did
one
Rob
of these
Pelinka
things
and Frank
is
Vogel.
not like the other.
Keep them around. So, all right. So when they won a title, LeBron said everybody wants their respect. But Jeanie Buss now doesn't get respect. Pelinka doesn't get respect. Vogel doesn't get respect. But LeBron is LeBron is the only one out of that triumvirate.
Well,
that
LeBron won
deserves
Finals
respect.
MVP and averaged 30, 10, and 8 in the series. If you thought, listen, if you're back on Vogel should be the coach, he did a good job. That's an interesting corner. You should maybe stick there. I happen to think Vogel didn't, and I don't think Pelinka did. I don't know. You tell me.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.